My name is Marcus Langford, and I have the opportunity and privilege of serving as the Dean of Students here on campus. And it is my privilege and the good fortune that I have to be able to welcome you all tonight. And so, again, welcome to Weaving New Beginnings. Whether this is your first, second, third, fourth, or fifth, we are glad that you're here with us. This is actually the 28th year of this program. So let's give a quick round of applause for 28 years. And I will also note that in addition to folks here in the room, that we have folks in Portland, watching at UO Portland, as well as we are doing a live stream on YouTube. So in addition to you, know that you are in community with a number of other folks, both again in the state and potentially around the world. So the brief remarks that I want to give is just that around a welcome and hoping that you had a great welcome, but also touching on this notion of building, developing, and cultivating community. So we know and we recognize that the University of Oregon is a predominantly white institution, and that's all fine, well, and good. But one of the things that we recognize is that it's important for Black folks, Indigenous folks, and other students of color to have intentional time, space, and opportunity to connect and be in community with one another. And that really is what the genesis of this program is. It's an opportunity for us to spend some time developing, cultivating, and being in community with one another. And so we're going to have a guest speaker in just a second, but what I would say to you is whether you're a faculty member, whether you're a staff, whether you're a student, is to really spend some time networking and connecting with someone that you may not know. I know we all arrived most likely with folks that we know, and that's good. Again, but in order to get the most out of a program like this, it's really vital that you extend yourself a little bit. For all of the students who are in the audience, that actually is a piece of advice that I would give you, to be intentional in extending yourself in your time and in your experience here. It's going to be very easy to get kind of locked up in your little bubble and to kind of go to class and not, try to engage or connect with people or visit, folks during their office hours. But I would encourage you to extend yourself both in your studies, extend yourself in your social connections, and just extend yourself in terms of trying to network across the institution. It's vital that you find a way to connect yourself to others because that will allow you to have a better experience here at the University of Oregon. So with that being said, I want to do a land acknowledgement. So as we come together, it's important to acknowledge that we are guests on this land that the university sits on. The University of Oregon is located on Kalapuya Ilahi, the traditional indigenous homeland of the Kalapuya people. Following treaties between 1851 and 1855, the Kalapuya people were dispossessed of their indigenous homeland by the United States government and forcibly removed to the Coast Reservation in Western Oregon. Today, descendants are citizens of the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde Community of Oregon and the Confederated Tribes of the Siletz Indians of Oregon, and they continue to make important contributions in their communities at the University of Oregon and across the land that we now refer to as Oregon. This statement was created in partnership with the Many Nations Longhouse, the Native American Student Union, and the Native Strategies Group. Next, I have the privilege of introducing our keynote speaker. Dr. Jimmy Howard currently serves as the Associate Dean of Students at the University of Oregon. In this position, he leads multiple teams in the areas of sexual violence prevention, substance abuse misuse prevention, sexual violence support services, basic needs, and crisis intervention. Dr. Howard earned his PhD in educational and organizational leadership from Clemson University. His scholarship and publications focus on critical issues of race and gender in higher education, equity and assessment practices, and racializing sexual violence policy and protocol. He also teaches and advises graduate students at Oregon State University in the areas of higher education administration, crisis management, and critical student development theory. Before coming to Oregon, he worked at Clemson University and the University of Delaware. Dr. Howard earned his master's degree from Clemson University and a bachelor's degree from the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Jimmy Howard.
Wow, that's a picture of me, huh? That's weird. So, good afternoon and evening to you all. First, thanks to the working group for putting on this event. I think it's good folks like the folks who put on this event that keep folks who are at the margins closer to the center. Secondly, I'd like to thank all of the students here and the colleagues who are here who, again, are at the university and at this event to help you succeed. So hopefully they can, today help you navigate something in your career. Maybe it's now or maybe it's later. And again, thank you all for showing up, again, just to take the opportunity to be together and gather in this event. So a little bit about me. I'm a transplant from Maryland. So I'm not originally from the West Coast. I grew up on an Army base close to Baltimore, Maryland. I'm a son of a mother and father who attended college but did not complete it. And any guesses why? They had me. My father enlisted in the military and my mother became a government worker. My family wasn't rich and we weren't poor. We were quote unquote making it. And so I'm also a brother of 2 younger sisters and an uncle to many. I'm also a partner, a scholar, and an administrator. And I couldn't be here with you today without the support of my village. And I think that's what I'm here to talk to you all about today is recognizing the village that got you here and building the village that will keep you here and also get you there, wherever that is for you. So today's event is a great example of a place where you can gather folks for your village, look around at your peers who are here, and who wanted to be here to network, but also to be in community together. There's nothing better, I think, than being in a community with folks who have the same kind of goals, and also making connections with those folks to hopefully benefit you for now and support you now and also for later, and maybe even a lifetime, depending on the connections you make. My village is made of many people that I've met along the way, my friends, my family, teachers, and people that I probably didn't know all that well, but they all help me achieve my best self. And I'm sure if you take a moment and think about your life, you can think about your village, right? So the people who cared for you when you were sick, the people who celebrated your successes with you, and the people who offered a hand to you when you didn't know what else to do next. And I want to talk about a few of my villagers who got me to this day, who I still lean on and trust and go to for support. The first are my mother and father, right? These two knew how the world would treat a young black man. They wanted so much for me to avoid those issues that they faced as young black people. And they were also keenly aware of the value of education and wanted, like so many other minoritized communities, for me to do better than them, right? And to have an easier time than them and to maybe achieve more than they could even dream up. So again, they sacrificed a lot for me. My parents were also avid about a college education. They made me study during summers. My father always would give me impromptu spelling tests and math tests. And I don't know if y'all know this, but I'm not a great speller, and so my dad doing that to me was terrible to me. Anyways, but as an 18-year-old deciding what to do for college, something shifted. So my parents, again, were avid about education, but again, they were really kind of in the forefront of telling me what I had to do, but something changed when I could choose my own college. They sort of shifted out of the parent role more into like the co-pilot mode, but sometimes they were like, we're gonna sit in the back seat, we'll help you with directions and we'll give you some snacks, but they would often tell me that we did the work to help you get here, we'll help you through college, but you have to do the work. And that stuck with me, right? For the first time in my life, I kind of felt really responsible for what was going to happen to me next. And that was really a watershed moment for me, right? To know that I was in control of what was going to happen next. They also impressed on me that I was a role model for my younger siblings and the other younger folks in the family. They helped me see that I could help set the tone for what they could see possible in their own lives. And that, once I'd made it, that it was my job to try to help folks get to where I was. My village is also full of really unique characters. So when I was preparing for this chat, one person was really present in mind. And I often think back to a good friend of mine, Miss Pat. Miss Pat was and is a community staple in my hometown. She was a college graduate. She taught piano to almost everyone that I knew who took piano. And she knew all the community tea, right? So she gathered community, she was wise, and lastly, Miss Pat had seen some stuff. So people really took her advice to heart. Miss Pat, again, was a woman who believed that we should never leave community members behind. And for her, that meant sharing lessons and lending a helping hand and making sure to encourage through what I would call tough love. And tough it was. Miss Pat would go on with me. So I remember talking to her, and she would just like, I felt like it was nagging me to apply for college and where was it going to go, et cetera. And I was like, ma'am, I got this. You don't have to worry. And at the time, I thought she was just pestering me the way that adults do. However, I had plans on attending a 4-year college right out of high school. I had applied to a few places and got in, but decided it wasn't time for me to leave home yet. So I stayed home for 1 more year, and I attended community college to help my parents save for my 4-year dream. And to be real, I wanted to stay close to my friends who had just graduated because, again, they were a year behind me. When I told Miss Pat the news, she was cool with the decision, and she looked at me and she said, quote, "You're only this age once, and this time in your life really matters. So make this decision work for you. Do well in your classes, make sure you get a job, but I want to see you at the university because oftentimes we don't make it there." So that hit me. Again, she hit me with the realization that, again, this was bigger than me, but that she was also rooting for me in a way that I hadn't seen before. Again, she was a community staple who, again, helped everyone realize this, but again, it was the moment that I understood what she was doing. A year came and passed, and I applied to, I think you heard Marcus, the Dean of Students, mention the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. And I had researched it a ton, and I thought it was the right place for me, and so I was really excited to tell Miss Pat about my acceptance. So I went up to her, I told her, I was like, "Oh, I got accepted," and she smiled, she said, "Okay." Not too much of a smile, she said, "Good. That's an excellent school with an excellent reputation, but your work is now to live up to that standard, and don't forget where you came from." Dang. Like, can I get a hug? Can I get like a celebration? Can I get a clap? And I know that you all have probably heard that expression before. Oh, I don't need the clap now, but back in the day, I was wanting that. But many people have heard the expression, "Don't forget where you came from," and we all know what that means for us, right? It means don't get too good for us, don't leave us behind. But more than anything, I think the expression means like we care for you, we want the best for you, and there's, again, more work to be done here, and don't forget about us. And that rang true for Miss Pat, right? And to this day, she never lets me forget who I am, where I've been, and that there's work to be done in our community. The last villager I'll talk about before I let you get back to networking is a staff member that I met in my undergraduate. Her name was Katie, and she was a community director who worked for University Housing. She was an outgoing, charismatic person, and I was her office aide for my sophomore year. I had had a rough first year at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. Again, being on my own was more difficult than I had thought. I spent the first term really trying to figure out how to be a good student, how to balance my extracurriculars, and how to wake up for 9 a.m. classes, because that was really difficult for me. I felt like the freedom was a little bit too much, and I didn't have enough structure. So I spent a lot of that year, my second year, processing it with Katie, and she helped me identify different resources on campus that could be useful for me. She even helped me with my RA application for the following year. During that time as Katie's office assistant, I had a little tiny desk in her big old office, and I would just sit there and think about like, oh man, I really wish I would have had this connection earlier on, because I think my first year would have been smoother. And so I decided in that moment that that's what I wanted to do, right? That I wanted to help my peers give back for what I felt like I had missed. That became my motivation to help others, either seek connections like I did or seek different ones, and also to help folks who didn't know they needed the help. Katie helped me explore this field of student affairs. She helped me understand I could do this job for almost forever, right? And that's why I'm here today in this career. Katie and I worked through my applications together for grad school. She informed me which programs to avoid, which programs deserve my consideration. And I remember, and you all might not really understand the scope of this, but I took a picture at my interview day and sent it to her. And back in the day, to take a picture, we had a digital camera we had to carry around that wasn't our cell phone, so it was really an event to actually show off what I was doing with my little digital camera. So again, in 2004, that meant a lot, right? So she also took me out when I graduated. She wrote me countless letters of recommendation to graduate schools, and she went out of her way to ensure that I understood how graduate school worked. And the most special part was she didn't want anything in return. She just cared and wanted me to succeed. And her mentorship lasted long after I left my undergraduate. There are so many other people that I could name who are in my village, but I also want you all to think about your village and what they mean to you. Again, during my time in undergrad, I slowly realized that my location, my education wasn't just about me. It was about all those that had helped me get there, those I knew, those I didn't, and those that, again, will come after me. I recently shared a photo on the Facebook. You all might know the Facebook. Where I'm getting my PhD and I'm surrounded by my friends and family, right? And for me, that was really important because without my family and without my village, it would have meant nothing to me, right? And so again, it was really helpful to have folks who knew me from the beginning when I was, again, just a little boy all the way to, again, achieving one of my, I think, greatest accomplishments. So again, my village was really important. And I once heard that each of us have about 1 million ancestors that preceded us, right? So 1 million people had to be here before you got here. And so think about all those lives, right? They're a part of your village too. Again, all the struggle, all the pain, all the love, sacrifice that those folks went through just so you could be here today. And again, we likely share some of those folks in common. And again, we have a lot of people who will be proud and who couldn't even imagine the lives that you live today. So I hope you take some time to think about those folks in your village that got you to today. So, as we think about tonight, I hope that tonight is really about you creating an opportunity to connect with folks who want to be a part of your journey at UO. It's also a great day to add somebody to your village, right? It can be a peer, someone who's sitting at the table with you, who wants someone to study with, eat lunch with, hang out with, live with next year. It can be a graduate student who's looking to advance their studies. It could also be someone, again, who works at the university who really wants, again, to help you navigate your college experience and has some wisdom that maybe could help you achieve your goals. We have so many initiatives and programs at the university built to help you succeed. I want to make sure that you all take a moment to talk to the folks around the room and get to know those programs a little bit better sooner rather than later. And I'll leave you with this quote from Michelle Obama. For every door that's been open to me, I've tried to open my door to others. And here is what I'll say, finally. Let's invite one another in. And that's what the folks around the room are here to do. So take the invitation, and maybe one day you can return the favor. So thank you all very much. I hope you take this time to build your village, and I'll see you out there when we network.
Thank you so much, Dr. Howard. I always appreciate getting the opportunity to hear from them for multiple reasons, but it's such a grounding opportunity and helps me really put things back in perspective of what probably is the more important thing that I should be focusing on than all of the other things in my brain. And it's always a genuine, honest conversation, which I appreciate. All right. So for those of you who don't know me and are like, why is there another person up here? My name is DJ Kelly Kwiatkowski, short first name, very long last name. And I'm the coordinator of multicultural and identity-based support services in the Office of the Dean of Students. It's a really long title that really allows me the opportunity to work with students who are historically excluded from institutions. So this event, Students of Color, I can support our LGBT coordinator, SJ, in their work, Maria Kallenbach, who does veteran and non-trad support, the Women's Center, Dr. Aerosol in the BCC, the list goes on. And it's a really great opportunity. I'm the lead of this event, and it's always my favorite. It's a great way to start our fall together, great way to meet new people, see some old faces that I only somehow see once a year at this event. You know who I'm looking at. And really, it's an opportunity for us to come together and remind ourselves that not only are we here, but we belong, and we belong and are allowed to thrive. I think that it's always a reminder at U of O, a primarily white institution, that sometimes it's hard for students, faculty, and staff of color to find community. And there isn't enough time for us to do all of the things we have to do as students, as staff, as family members, and to still find one another. So I hope that throughout this year, we'll be able to provide more opportunities like this, so it'll be a little easier to figure out where we all are. So I get to do some of the fun wrap-up before we get back to the networking, and I get to do a bunch of thank yous, which is, for me, the best part. This event has gone off very smoothly, and it is not without a lot of other people, not just, I did not whip this into shape. We're going to start with our speakers and sponsors first. Thank you to Marcus Langford and Dr. Jimmy Howard. Both of them are people I look up to and would love to continue to emulate my career after, so it's a little self-serving to ask them to speak here, but also people that I am very proud to call colleagues. Chela Gonzalez and Sean Schleigelman, both of them are student workers of mine who basically have put together all of the name tags, who have made all of the things you see around, all of the things on tables. Basically any thought that I had of like, hey, we need this, they were on it, so they get a shout out. Same with Elizabeth Miskimmons Ramdas, who literally printed, cut, stuffed all of the name tags that you're wearing. It was a full day yesterday. It was impressive to watch. Dr. Michael Griffel and University Catering put together the food, and they're always a large supporter of this event in its 28 years. And then the EMU event staff and UO media teams who's helped create this space, who's streaming for us. I think that the direction that Weavings is going is only, it can only happen with both those teams behind us as well. And lastly, the Weaving New Beginnings working group. These are the people who've been working with me for over 6 months to curate this event, to figure out what we want to do and make it happen. So Chantel Russell. If you're in the room, please raise your hand. I see some of you. So Chantel Russell, David Wagner, Jasmine Channel, Lorena Landeros, Matt Marcotte. This is the Eugene team. We do have 2 people up in UO Portland as well who are managing this too, so Dr. Sarah Cooten and Daphne Batanga. These people work in student life, over in housing and SSEM, advising in College of Business. We are a group of people from all over campus who come together once a year, hopefully you'll stay on the committee, to figure out what this looks like and how we can continue to make this space special. After 28 years, you would think that we'd be bored of it. And not that we've all been here for 28 years, but every year it gets better, this event. It gets more curated, and I'm really excited to be able to do this with those folks. And lastly, even though it's a little cheesy, thank you all for being here. It's a lot to ask to stay after hours when you all have classes, when you all have been working all day. But it's really important to show up for one another. And I think that this is just one of many opportunities that we'll have, and hopefully one that we'll be able to enjoy. So thank you all for being here with us too.